Nanda padded closer, moving stealthily along the edge of the stone floor toward the group of knights gathered near the long table. The knights, still engrossed in their heated debate, had seemingly dismissed her as unimportant. Just a stray, she thought, ears twitching. Fine by me. Less hassle. Her tail curled behind her as she crept forward, whiskers quivering with curiosity. Their voices echoed in the vast hall, bouncing off the high stone walls and filling the space with a tension that prickled her fur like static. Nanda's sharp eyes scanned the room, her gaze drawn to the knights clustered around the table, their postures tense as they argued with rising urgency. "We must act now," one knight urged, his hand resting firmly on the hilt of his sword. His voice was loud, almost desperate, and every word seemed weighted with urgency. His armor caught the flickering light of the torches, gleaming like a beacon. The knight slammed his fist on the table, his voice ringing with desperation. "The kingdom teeters on ruin." His tone reverberated through the hall like a thunderclap, drawing grim nods from some and skeptical glances from others. "Please stop slamming fists on tables." "Patience, Sir Gareth," another knight replied, his tone cool and deliberate. His face was cast in shadow, but the steady cadence of his words made him seem like a counterpoint to Sir Gareth's fiery intensity. "Rash action will only lead to further chaos." Nanda crouched lower, blending seamlessly into the darkness as she crept, her eyes fixed on their every move. She had always had a knack for eavesdropping, a skill honed by her natural curiosity, which Grace had always encouraged. Countless hours spent at the edge of the village market had only sharpened her ability to remain unseen while listening. But this was something else entirely. These men weren't gossiping about neighbors or the price of flour. They were discussing something weightier, more dangerous. "The Holy Grail," Sir Gareth spat, his frustration spilling over. His hand tightened on the hilt of his sword, as if gripping it might somehow bring him closer to the elusive object. "It is our only hope. We must find it before it falls into the wrong hands." Nanda's ears twitched. The Holy Grail. So they are still obsessed with that, she thought, recalling their previous heated discussion about it. She had initially dismissed it as some kind of Arthurian fan club meeting, but now, seeing their desperation, she wondered if there was more to it than she first thought. A hush fell over the knights, their argument momentarily forgotten. Nanda felt a shift in the atmosphere, a prickle of anticipation that raised the fur on her back. The knights' debate was cut short as the torches flickered wildly, casting jagged shadows across the room. A cold wind swept through the hall, silencing their voices. Then, from the edge of the darkness, a shadow moved. Not a flicker of light, but a deliberate presence. It stepped forward, each stride calculated, until the man emerged fully into the firelight. He was tall and slender, his movements fluid and deliberate, like a predator stalking its prey. His dark cloak billowed slightly as he walked, the edges whispering against the floor. His eyes, sharp and calculating, scanned the group with an expression that was equal parts amusement and disdain. "Sir Mordred," Sir Gareth said, his voice low and laced with a hint of warning. "Sir Mordred?" Nanda's whiskers twitched, and her ears flattened against her head. Was she surrounded by the entire cast of Arthurian legend? She fought the urge to let out a derisive snort. "This is getting ridiculous." "Indeed," Sir Mordred drawled, a sly smile playing on his lips. "I couldn't help but overhear your passionate discussion about the Grail." His tone was light, almost playful, but there was an unmistakable edge to his words. "It's none of your concern," Sir Gareth snapped, his voice like a sword cutting through the tension. His hand hovered near his blade, ready to draw it at a moment's notice. "Oh, but I think it is," Sir Mordred countered smoothly, his smile widening into something sharper, more dangerous. "After all, the fate of the kingdom hangs in the balance. And I, for one, would hate to see such a powerful relic fall into the incompetent hands of this faction of the Knights of the Round Table." A murmur rippled through the gathered knights, their faces darkening with anger. Sir Gareth stepped forward, his hand instinctively reaching for the hilt of his sword. "What do you mean by that, Mordred?" he growled, his voice thick with suspicion. Sir Mordred's smile didn't falter. "Must I spell it out for you, Gareth?" he purred, his eyes glinting with malice. "You and your ilk cling to outdated traditions, blinded by your supposed honor. The kingdom may fall if we do not take action, while you chase after legends and fairy tales. The Grail deserves better custodians. Men who understand the true needs of the realm. Nanda pressed herself closer to the cold stone wall, her heart pounding. This is escalating quickly, she thought, her green eyes darting between the knights. If this turns into a full-blown brawl, I'm going to need an exit strategy. Gentlemen, Sir Mordred said, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. He raised his hands in a placating gesture, though his smile remained as infuriating as ever. Let's not resort to violence just yet. I propose a wager. The knights fell silent, their eyes narrowing with suspicion. Sir Gareth stepped forward, his expression a mixture of defiance and curiosity. A wager? He echoed, his voice tight with distrust. Sir Baldwin, ever the cautious one, placed a restraining hand on Gareth's arm, but his eyes were fixed on Mordred, assessing the danger in the offer. Indeed, Sir Mordred said, his tone dripping with confidence. A race to the Grail. Whoever finds it first gets to keep it. Simple, is it not? Nanda's ears perked up, and her tail flicked with renewed interest. A race to the Grail? She thought, her curiosity burning brighter with every passing moment. Now this is getting interesting. The knights exchanged uneasy glances, a silent conversation passing between them. Gareth's face was flushed with the thrill of the challenge, while Percival bit his lip, his brow furrowed in thought. After a moment of tense silence, Gareth spoke, his voice ringing with determination. Very well, he declared, his jaw set. We accept your wager, Sir Mordred. Excellent. Sir Mordred purred, his dark eyes gleaming with satisfaction. May the best knight win. Nanda remained hidden, listening intently, her curiosity gnawing at her insides. She crept closer, blending into the shadows near the tapestry, waiting for an opportunity to understand more. Suddenly, a soft rustling sound made her fur stand on end. Without warning, the tapestry was pulled aside, and she found herself face to face with the same young knight she had seen earlier, Percival. A cat? He whispered, his voice filled with wonder. He stared at her as though she were some kind of mythical creature, his wide eyes reflecting the torchlight. Nanda blinked, her whiskers twitching. He saw me earlier. Is there a problem? She asked, her voice laced with sarcasm. Percival's expression shifted from surprise to amusement. Not at all, he said with a chuckle. I just didn't expect to find such an intriguing observer. Nanda arched an eyebrow. Well, I can assure you, I'm not here for any knightly spectacle. The knight laughed, his tone warm and genuine. I like you, cat, he said, extending a hand toward her. I'm Sir Percival. Sir Percival? Nanda thought, raising an eyebrow in mild disbelief. Well, this is a strange day. Sir Percival was still holding out his hand to her. Do you really expect me to be able to shake that? Rather than attempt to do just that, she cautiously chose to sniff it instead, then rubbed her head against his fingers. Nanda, she purred, returning the introduction, her tail flicking with a mix of interest and caution. And I have a feeling this will be a very interesting adventure. Sir Percival smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Indeed it will, Nanda. Indeed it will. As he turned to leave, Nanda caught a strange shimmer in the air around him, like the wavering heat rising from a sun-baked stone. The world around her seemed to ripple and distort for a fleeting moment, and for the briefest instant, she glimpsed something otherworldly, an entirely different reality, suspended just beyond the edges of her perception. In this vision, towering spires of shimmering alabaster rose majestically into the air, their surfaces carved with intricate fractal patterns that seemed to twist and spiral in an endless dance. The tips of these towers disappeared into a sky alive with swirling iridescent colors, hues that blended and shifted, like liquid light, swirling with a beauty that left her breathless. Between the towers, delicate bridges woven from strands of moonlight arched gracefully across the void, their soft silvery glow pulsing with a rhythm all their own. Each knot and loop in the bridge's construction seemed to hum with an energy that resonated through Nanda's very being, making her fur bristle. Above and around these glowing pathways, creatures unlike any Nanda had ever seen flitted by. They resembled elongated, crystalline hummingbirds, their bodies refracted into prismatic shards of light. As they zipped along the moonlit paths, they left trails of sparkling dust that hung suspended in the air, shimmering like tiny stars, frozen in time. Below, Vast gardens of bioluminescent fungi stretched out, their bell-shaped caps glowing softly in the twilight. From their depths, a haunting melody echoed, as if the very earth itself was singing, a sound that seemed to stir something deep within Nanda's soul, evoking a longing she couldn't quite explain. In the distance, a colossal tree stood, its bark woven from what appeared to be shimmering data streams, flowing like liquid through its massive trunk. Its branches reached toward the heavens, their leaves flickering with bursts of light. The tree pulsed with an otherworldly heartbeat, sending ripples through the air, the rhythmic thrum of its pulse reverberating through the city like a low, resonant drumbeat. It was a place where nature and technology were no longer separate, where magic and machine intertwined in a seamless harmony that felt both ancient and futuristic, timeless and ever-changing. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the vision faded. The shimmering air around him was gone, leaving Nanda with only the weight of the moment lingering in her mind. She shook her head, blinking as her heart raced. What was that? She wondered, her mind whirling with questions. A vision of the future? A glimpse into a parallel world? Or had it all been just a trick of the light, some fleeting illusion conjured by her own imagination? One thing, however, was certain. Nothing about this place, or these people, was as it seemed.